Greetings, I'm Najel Ruth, a student in the University of Bamenda in the Department of Communication and Development Studies, presenting here a video on gender-based violence. Gender-based violence is any harmful act perpetrated against a person or a group of people because of their factual or perceived sex, their gender, their sexual orientation, or their identified gender. Most at times, violence is associated with the physical forms of violence, neglecting the non-physical types of violence. But we must understand that violence is a complex issue. Therefore, categorizing the different types of violence can never be exact. However, here are some of the main types of gender-based violence.
Physical violence. This involves any act which causes physical harm as a result of unlawful physical force. Sexual violence. Any sexual act performed on an individual without their consent. It can take the form of rape or sexual assault. Psychological violence. In this case, any acts which causes psychological harm to an individual, for example, defamation, verbal insult, or harassment. Economic violence. This has to do with any act or behavior which causes harm to an individual. It includes property damage or restriction to access financial resources. Structural or institutional violence. The subordination of women in economic, social, and political life when attempting to explain the prevalence of violence against women within our society.
Gender-based violence is one of the most prevalent forms of human rights violation in the world. It undermines the health, dignity, security, and autonomy of its victims. The consequences of gender-based violence are devastating, and it can have lifelong repercussions on the survivors. The individual suffers from depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, the limited ability to complete a daily task, and even suicidal thoughts. Women and girls in particular may experience severe physical injuries, unwanted pregnancies, exposure to HIV, and other sexually transmittable infections.
No time, no.
In spite of the ache, I will rise 1,000 times again.
The main question remains, how can we tackle these consequences? Here are 7 tips we can practice in order to prevent gender-based violence. We can take action. Ensure you do something to stop violence, but not by using violence or putting yourself in danger. Don't be a silent observer. Take action today to stop men's violation against women. We should challenge the sexist language to help break the impression that women are inferior to men, because women and men are born equal. We can learn by watching news, reading articles, and seeking information to help us understand the impact of violence. This will enable us to take better actions and decisions when dealing with others. We can reflect on our own behavior. For those who have used violence against men or women, get help today. Support is available to assist in behavior change. We should develop respectful relationships towards women. Respect is everything. Be aware of your language, actions, and express your feelings without violence. We can be role models. Men can model behaviors to other men to help them cope with stressful and hurtful feelings. Help them understand that violence is not a solution to deal with their problems. We can call it out. Try to understand why men are violent. Men are not naturally born violent. Violent and abusive behavior are learned as a way of expressing masculinity. It is an intentional behavior to gain power and control. It is a choice to be violent. You can choose to be non-violent.
Given the urgent need to address the impact of conflicts on women and girls in Cameroon, IRI launched a project dedicated to empowering Cameroonian women to become advocates against GBV in their communities. Dom Charlotte Aya, an adolescent girls and young women advocate, a youth leader, and the communication secretary of DTRAO Transformers, talks more about the responses of GBV in Cameroon, particularly in the Northwest region.
With regards GBV intervention, a lot of civil society and non-governmental organizations in the Northwest region have been doing a lot in a bid to mitigate the prevalent spread of gender-based violence, especially within the context of the Anglophone crisis, which has gone a long way to increase the rate of gender-based violence due to a number of factors. Now, they've been doing this with sensitization workshops, with seminars, all in a bid to tell the masses about what GBV is about, the consequences of gender-based violence, and why they should desist from it. Some organizations have also undertaken on themselves to empower women, same as men, because one of the major reasons for gender-based violence is poverty. So, for example, an organization like Comagen Cameroon undertook to the empowerment of boys and girls in the baking of cakes. This did not only help in gender-based violence, but equally break stereotypes that some particular things are left in the hands of some particular gender. So teaching boys and young men how to bake cakes will go a long way to empower them in order to get skills. It's a skill that's going to give them some financial aid, and equally break those stereotypes that that bring about gender roles, inferiority, superiority, and go a long way to fuel the persistence of the pandemic or the epidemic gender-based violence. Equally, some other organizations like Medicine du Monde was able to create a gender-based violence referral platform, a global platform where a lot of organizations in the Northwest region operate under its auspices in terms of collaboration. This is so that organizations that deal with different services can easily collaborate in tackling GBV cases when they come across. This, amongst many other things, are just some of the things that organizations, civil society organizations, women organizations like Kajet, Comagen, ASOWIP, D2R Transformers, MOCAM, and so on have been doing in the Northwest region to combat gender-based violence. And we hope that it's going with time is going to be more of an issue of the past. A lot has been done, but a lot still has to be done with regards to deconstructing the many stereotypes that we have, deconstructing the enabling environment which breeds and gives room for the proliferation of GBV. And we just hope that with the continuous effort, the continuous sensitization, and the continuous material support and all of that, we are going to attain a GBV free region and the world at large, globally. Thank you.
Prevent violence against women, challenge gender stereotypes, and promote respect. Thank you.